Donald Trump, the 45th President of the United States and a dominant figure in Republican politics, is running for re-election in the 2024 presidential race. Known for his populist and conservative policies, Trump's campaign focuses on economic recovery, national security, and reducing governmental oversight. As one of the most polarizing political figures in modern American history, his policies contrast sharply with those of his Democratic opponents. In this video, we will break down Trump's top 10 campaign promises, discuss the reasoning behind them, and how he intends to implement these policies. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, and like the video for more political analysis. 1. Economic revival and job creation. Trump's campaign heavily emphasizes economic recovery, particularly focusing on reviving industries hit hard by the COVID-19 pandemic and inflation. He plans to cut taxes for middle-class Americans and reduce corporate tax rates to encourage domestic production. By offering tax incentives to American companies that bring back jobs from overseas, Trump believes this will spark growth in key sectors like manufacturing and energy. This stands in opposition to his Democratic rivals' plans for increased government regulation and taxation of the wealthy. 2. Border security and immigration reform. A cornerstone of Trump's political agenda is his hardline stance on immigration. His plans include continuing to build the U.S.-Mexico border wall and implementing stricter immigration policies to curb illegal entries. Trump also advocates for the end of sanctuary cities, which protect undocumented immigrants, and vows to increase deportations. In contrast to the Democratic push for more humane immigration policies, Trump argues that strong borders are essential for national security and economic stability. 3. Energy independence and fossil fuels. Trump's energy policy focuses on making the U.S. energy independent by expanding fossil fuel production, such as oil, gas, and coal. His administration previously rolled back environmental regulations to boost drilling and fracking, and Trump intends to continue this path if re-elected. He believes the U.S. can become an energy-exporting powerhouse, creating jobs and reducing reliance on foreign oil. This is a direct contrast to the Democratic focus on renewable energy and addressing climate change, which Trump views as detrimental to economic growth. 4. Lowering taxes for all Americans. Trump plans to continue his administration's tax cuts, promising further reductions for the middle class and businesses. He argues that lower taxes will lead to economic growth, job creation, and higher wages for workers. Trump's tax policy includes simplifying the tax code and reducing the corporate tax rate even further. His vision is to create a more business-friendly environment that will attract investment and foster innovation, which he claims will ultimately benefit all Americans. 5. Healthcare reform, repeal and replace Obamacare. Trump remains committed to repealing the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, and replacing it with a system that reduces government involvement in healthcare. He has criticized the ACA for increasing premiums and limiting choices for Americans. Trump's plan focuses on creating a more competitive healthcare market by allowing insurance companies to sell across state lines and reducing regulatory barriers. In stark contrast, Democrats are pushing for either an expansion of Obamacare or a move toward universal healthcare. 6. Criminal justice reform and law enforcement. Trump strongly supports law enforcement and has called for a tough-on-crime approach to tackling violent crime in major U.S. cities. His plan includes increasing funding for police departments and cracking down on violent crime through stricter sentencing laws. He believes that many Democratic cities are plagued by lawlessness due to weak enforcement policies. Trump's stance appeals to voters concerned about public safety, while critics argue it disregards calls for police reform and accountability. 7. America First trade policy. Trump's America First trade policy prioritizes protecting U.S. jobs and industries by renegotiating trade deals he deems unfair. He intends to continue imposing tariffs on foreign goods, particularly from China, to reduce the U.S. trade deficit and encourage domestic manufacturing. Trump argues that previous trade policies have allowed other nations to exploit American workers and businesses. This protectionist approach contrasts with democratic calls for more global cooperation in trade. 8. National defense and military strength. Trump has always emphasized strengthening the U.S. military and ensuring it remains the most powerful in the world. He advocates for increasing defense spending and modernizing the U.S. nuclear arsenal to deter threats from nations like China, Russia, and North Korea. Trump's approach prioritizes peace through strength, contrasting with the Democratic preference for diplomacy and international alliances to resolve global conflicts. 9. Second Amendment rights. Trump is a staunch defender of the Second Amendment, believing in the right of Americans to bear arms. His campaign opposes gun control measures, such as background checks or assault weapon bans, which he sees as infringements on constitutional rights. Instead, Trump proposes addressing gun violence through mental health initiatives and better enforcement of existing laws. This is in direct opposition to the Democratic call for stricter gun control regulations to prevent mass shootings and violence. 10. Pro-life stance and opposition to abortion. Trump is a vocal supporter of the pro-life movement and opposes abortion except in cases of rape, incest, or when the mother's life is at risk. He has vowed to appoint conservative judges who are willing to challenge Roe v. Wade, the landmark Supreme Court decision that legalized abortion nationwide. Trump's stance on abortion rights has led to significant clashes with pro-choice advocates and Democratic leaders, who support federal protection for women's reproductive rights. Donald Trump's 2024 campaign revolves around reinforcing his America First policies, emphasizing economic growth, strong borders, and individual freedoms. His promises reflect a clear opposition to the progressive ideals championed by the Democrats. As this election unfolds, it's clear that Trump's approach will continue to galvanize his base while sparking debate across the political spectrum. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more updates on the 2024 election and other political news.